Hello and welcome. This is Nimasa This Week, and my name is Iretiola Doyle. Now on our show this week, we will be paying tribute to the late Senator Pius Ewerido. He was the Vice Chairman of the Senate Committee on Marine Transport that had oversight functions for Nimasa and other related parastatals. The late Senator passed on the 30th of June 2013 and was laid to rest at his hometown just last week. Here is our tribute for the late Senator Pius Ewerido.
Senator Abokena Pius Ewerido was born on the 4th of May 1963 to Joseph and Paulina Ewerido in Ughelli. As the son of a retired school principal, good education was not an option but an imperative for young Pius. His early education started at St. Paul's Primary School, Ughelli, and he completed his primary school education at RCM Primary School, Ozoro, in Delta State. He then gained admission to the famous Notre Dame College, Ozoro, and finished off his secondary school education at the equally famous Urobo College. It would appear that the schools he attended shaped his destiny profoundly, as Pius Ewerido later on in life turned out to be a devout Catholic like his father and a champion for the propagation of the Urobo culture and language. After his secondary school education, Abokena proceeded to the prestigious University of Ife, now known as the Obafemi Awolowo University, to study philosophy, where he emerged as the best graduating student in philosophy, a fact that must account for his deep philosophical approach to issues. Like all patriotic youths with a university education at the time, Pius Ewerido served in the National Youth Service Corps at Agoiwoye in Ogun State. Upon graduation, Pius Ewerido elected to go into business as he reasoned that a salaried job would be inadequate to meet his obligations towards his younger siblings, as his loving father had passed on shortly before he graduated. As fate would have it, fortune smiled on his decision, as his audiovisual business in Warri, Delta State, flourished and he became a household name. Not satisfied with just being a successful businessman in Warri, Abokena Ewerido sought to better equip himself for his future role as a lawmaker and political leader by enrolling at the University of Benin to study law, from where he was called to the bar after attending law school. Shortly after bagging a degree in law and being called to the bar, Barrister Pius Ewerido joined the League of Responsibly Married Gentlemen when he tied the proverbial nuptial knot with the delectable Doye Natasha Bozimo on the 28th of December 1996. As a husband and father, Senator Ewerido was nothing short of exceptional, a fact that his lovely wife and 6 extremely well-behaved children will eternally attest to. Pius Ewerido's sterling qualities made him a goldfish of sorts which had no hiding place. Like his Christian name connotes, his pious deeds caught the attention of the church, and he was subsequently knighted as a Knight of St. Mulumba by the Catholic Church. A man given to charitable works of philanthropy which knew no denominational, religious or ethnic boundaries. Pius Ewerido, in his modesty, chose to keep this aspect of his life under the radar. Even then, his paternal kith and kin in Ewu Kingdom, who were recipients of his benevolence, bestowed on him the prestigious title of Otemuneruemu, as did his maternal folk, who honored him with the title Ajarese of Efun Oto Kingdom. Pius Ewerido also holds other traditional titles from various communities in Delta State. Being a man of uncommon passion for his people, it was no surprise to many when he opted to join politics during the botched Abacha political transition program, when he became a member of the now defunct United Nigeria Congress. However, come 1998, Senator Ewerido cast his political lot with the People's Democratic Party, PDP, where his zeal to serve found expression when he won elections into the Delta State House of Assembly representing Ughelli South constituency in 1999. His glaring leadership qualities was quickly noticed by his colleagues in the assembly, and he was elected into the exalted office of Deputy Speaker. Right Honorable Pius Abokena Ewerido was to spend 8 years in the Delta State House of Assembly, having been re-elected in 2003 to a second term in the House. As a legislator and principal officer in the House of Assembly, he sponsored and co-sponsored several groundbreaking pieces of legislation, like the Delta State law prohibiting harmful, cruel, and discriminating practices against females and widows, and the law to make policy provisions for employment of indigents in Delta State. He withdrew from active politics in 2007 after 2 terms in the State House of Assembly, but later rejoined the political terrain in 2010, this time as a member of the Democratic People's Party DPP, and he became the candidate for the Delta Central Senatorial seat in the 2011 general elections, which he won against all odds, making him the sole DPP senator in the upper chamber of the National Assembly. Unfazed by his status as Lone Ranger in the Senate, Senator Ewerido endeared himself to his fellow senators with the soundness of his arguments and insightful intellectual disposition. In just 2 years in the Senate, he made an indelible impact through the sponsorship of some of the most far-reaching bills in the House, the most recent of which was a bill for an act to make provisions creating the offense of corporate manslaughter and matters incidental thereto. However, the maritime community in Nigeria will forever be appreciative of his contributions to the Senate Committee on Marine Transport, the committee he served as vice chairman. During the committee's last oversight visit to Nimasa in Lagos, the distinguished senator made his presence felt with his well-thought-out contributions on that occasion.
If I commend you once more, it will be one too many, because you've been so commended that it's sounding like a cracked record. But let me also thank you and go straight to my worries. The extension of services to other countries. I will understand if our surveillance level now shows that maybe we now have zero piracy and all that, and we now extend to Republic of Benin. Are you just doing that because of presidential order, or you are doing it because Nigeria has been able to secure all its territorial waters, and so you extend to Republic of Benin?
Senator Abokena Pius Ewerido. The entire community of maritime stakeholders mourn your untimely passing and pledge to meet and surpass your high expectations for the maritime industry in Nigeria. Rest in perfect peace.
The late senator was laid to rest at a well-attended ceremony, of which we will now bring you highlights, as well as tributes presented to the late senator by Governor Emmanuel Uduaghan and the Senate President, David Mark. Nimasa was also well represented at the ceremony. The Executive Director of Finance and Administration at Nimasa, Alhaji Haruna Babajoro, as well as the head of Nimasa Public Relations, Mr. Isiche Osangbi, paid special tributes to the late distinguished senator.
Late Senator Pius Ewerido is somebody who is very active, very straightforward, somebody who we can say loved this nation. The way he has worked, the way we have seen, in fact, I was opportune to be at the burial. What I have heard about him is heart-provoking. So he has done a great number of things in his locality. We understand that he has given scholarship to people, he has sponsored, he has contributed in a lot of projects in the Niger Delta region, especially in his district. So I see him as somebody who is very active, somebody who loves his people, somebody who will be remembered for long.
He was a great gentleman, a perfect legislator. He will surely be missed by everyone, every Nigerian. Particularly for us in Nimasa, we will miss his very rich and robust contribution to the maritime industry development. And we're very, very proud of him. And even in death, we know he will feel glad that he's left his landmark in the sand of times of this country. Precisely, we will miss his immense contribution in our very, very, very interesting area of capacity development and the growth of the entire maritime industry in this country.
We continue on our update this week on the guideline on the implementation and governance of the International Ship and Port Facility Security ISPS Code. Pursuant to the mandate of instituting an effective ISPS Code implementation regime, Nimasa, as the designated authority, is committed to ensuring that adequate and requisite training is provided for all cadres of personnel in the maritime sector as necessary. Therefore, the agency shall provide periodic training courses in port facility personnel, of which all stakeholders are expected to take advantage of to equip their personnel. Nimasa shall conduct the following courses relevant to the port facility part of the implementation mandate on a scheduled basis. A. Port Facility Security Officer course. B. Offshore Security Officer OSO course. C. Maritime Guard Force Security Officers MAGSO course. D. Enhanced Management Level Maritime Security EMMS course. E. ISPS Code Awareness course. And F. Port State Control Officer PSCO course levels 1 to 3. Join us next week as we continue to update you on the ISPS code and the responsibilities of Nimasa as the designated authority in subsequent episodes of the program. For more information, visit www.nimasa.gov.ng.
Up next is a new segment of Nimasa This Week.
In continuation of Nimasa's initiative to distribute safety material, in particular life jackets and vests to coastal and riverine communities in some states of the Federation, a three-man team from the Nimasa headquarters in Lagos were in Ilaja local government in Ondo State to distribute safety materials. The team was led by Mr. Ahmed Abare, a senior official of the Marine Environment Management Department in Nimasa. Their first port of call was the office of the Ilaja local government chairman, where they were received by Mr. Ayayaki, the chairman's special assistant. Mr. Abare briefed the special assistant on their mission of safety materials distribution, a gesture he described as a demonstration of Nimasa's commitment to ensuring the safety of lives of persons plying the waterways of Ondo State. Mr. Ayayaki, who represented the local government chairman, expressed the appreciation of the entire local government to Nimasa for what he described was a very thoughtful gesture. He assured the Nimasa delegation that the safety materials will be put to good use, even as he solicited for more assistance from Nimasa. Mr. Barry assured him that the agency will continue to render the necessary support to the community.
As a responsible maritime administration, Nimasa takes the training and retraining of its staff very seriously. In keeping with this commitment to human capacity development, a training program for surveyors in Nimasa's employ was held recently. Our field reporter Amanda Akman was there, and here's her report.
Nimasa put together a training program in which a representative of the Abuja MOU was invited to conduct a training program for our surveyors. The attending surveyors consisted of older surveyors and the newly employed surveyors at Nimasa, who have been undergoing an intensive training program of recent to prepare them for the onerous responsibility of implementing port and flag states inspections of vessels plying Nigerian territorial waters. Engineer Richard Owolabi of the Abuja MOU, who conducted the training, was very emphatic about the issue of seaworthiness as against the new fit-for-purpose concepts.
The shift is moving away from seaworthiness to fitness for purpose. My purpose of this voyage, I am going to the polar region. I'm going to the Murmansk, where it's very cold. That means I have to prepare this vessel to be able to do that. I have to start thinking of an icebreaker, or something that will be able to, the hull will be able to, they will be able to withstand breaking through an ice, right? But seaworthiness, it can be seaworthy to work in the tropics. I can go from here to Ghana up to Dakar and come back, and then go down to maybe Angola. It's within the tropics. The vessels, the waters are not so choppy and so distant.
At the end of the one-day training program, we asked the head of the Maritime Safety and Seafarer Standards Department at Nimasa, Engineer Vincent Udoyi, what the Abuja MOU was all about.
Abuja MOU is a memorandum of understanding between among about 22 West and Central African countries. 14 of these countries have already signed as members of the Abuja MOU, and the other countries are observatory members. Now, what the Abuja MOU is doing is to give us a standardized form of carrying out surveys and inspection on board ships, so that we don't have discrepancies in attitudes and practices.
Engineer Richard Owolabi expressed his elation at the fact that the management of Nimasa has improved logistic support for surveyors to carry out inspections.
I want to congratulate Nigeria for the effort so far done, especially when it comes to increasing the logistic requirements to enable inspectors to board the vessels so that Nimasa can meet the 15% of the number of inspections of ship calls in Nigeria. It is a very good thing, and I hope the Maritime Administration, the Nimasa management, will continue in improving and retraining the inspectors to meet the requirements in line with the provisions of the different IMO and ILO instruments.
The court in Grosseto, Italy, has accepted plea bargains for 5 cruise ship company staff involved in the Costa Concordia shipwreck that killed 32 crew and passengers, convicting all of multiple manslaughter and negligence. However, Captain Francesco Schettino, 52, who is also seeking a plea bargain to reduce a possible jail sentence, remains on trial for manslaughter and causing the January 2012 shipwreck off the Tuscan island of Giglio, and also abandoning the vessel with thousands aboard. Still continuing our public service awareness on the Coastal and Inland Shipping Act, otherwise known as the Cabotage Act 2003, revised in 2007, here are some information you might need to know. The Cabotage Act is not in conflict with other existing laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria which regulate market access in Nigeria. It rather complements the horizontal requirement for establishing a business in Nigeria under the Companies and Allied Matters Act 1990. The Cabotage Act preserves the right of foreign investors under the Nigerian Investment Promotion Act by establishing a special register for cabotage for fully foreign-owned vessels which are engaged in cabotage trade. Compliance with the Cabotage Act's requirement on manning of cabotage vessels also reinforces existing laws which require that expatriate quotas and business permits for foreign workers should be restricted to cases of non-availability of Nigerians for the positions applied for.
Up next is the Maritime Cargo Report, which is simply a breakdown of cargoing ships expected to berth in ports within the Lagos Pilotage District this week. As always, the Maritime Cargo Report is brought to you courtesy of the Shipping Development Department of Nimasa.
Only one motor vessel is awaiting berth at the Lagos Pilotage District this week. It has on board bulk fertilizer. At the same time, 8 motor tanker vessels are awaiting berth at the Lagos Pilotage District. 7 of them are conveying PMS or petrol, while only one has a cargo of ATK or aviation turbine kerosene.
Today, all the day this instrument was ratified and signed by the president was one of the happiest days in my life. Basically because we started this journey for a very long time. We tried all we could to get it done. It is done. It is a big relief to the millions of Nigerian seafarers, whom I believe should be very grateful to Nimasa and to the DG in particular, who has put in so much commitment and sacrifice to ensure that this thing has been done. Any lover of seafaring and the seafarers themselves must be extremely grateful to this man, because we have tried with successive DGs, but we've not been able to get the support that we needed to get it ratified. Today we are proud, and we believe that this man has done so much, and I believe that his name should be printed in gold.
Now that is our show for this week. Now please don't forget, Nimasa This Week is an interactive show. We want to hear your thoughts, listen to your criticisms and answer your questions. All you need to do is to send an email to the address currently showing on your screen. Now there's no way we can sign off on the show this week without first, on behalf of everyone here at Nimasa This Week, sending our deepest condolences to the family of the late distinguished Senator Pius Ewerido. May the souls of the faithfully departed rest in peace. Now I'm going to be here same time, same station next week. Until then, we're wishing you smooth sailing and bon voyage.